Have you ever thought about how some of the funniest people in the world often seem to be, well, the saddest? It's this strange, fascinating paradox, right? The people who make us laugh the hardest might be fighting some of their biggest battles internally. So today, we're going to dive in and really unpack the psychology behind why that is.
You know, this joke, it's from the amazing graphic novel Watchmen, and it just perfectly captures this whole idea of this sad clown. It's one of those things that's funny for a second, but then it hits you, and it's actually kind of heartbreaking. It really gets to the core of what we're going to explore.
So that's the big question we're tackling. Why is there this powerful link between comedy and melancholy? Is it just some weird coincidence, or is there something much, much deeper going on inside our brains when we laugh, especially when we laugh at things going wrong? Let's try to crack the code.
To really get to the bottom of this, we need a way to think about it, kind of framework. And luckily for us, psychologists have been trying to crack the code of laughter for a long time. One of the best ideas they've come up with is something called the benign violation theory.
Okay, I know it sounds a little academic, right? Benign violation theory, but the idea behind it is actually super simple. For us to find something funny, two things have to happen at the exact same time. First, there has to be a violation. Something has to be wrong or a little threatening, or it breaks a rule we expect. But, and this is key, at the same time, it has to be benign. We have to feel like it's actually okay, that it's safe and ultimately harmless.
This visual here explains it perfectly. Just think of it like a simple Venn diagram. You've got one circle for violations, things that are wrong, and you've got another circle for things that are benign or harmless. Well, humor lives right there in that sweet spot in the middle where those two things overlap. That's where the magic happens. Let's make this real with some examples. Okay, think about tickling. It's technically a physical attack, that's the violation, but it's coming from someone you trust, and it doesn't actually hurt, so it's benign, and that's why we laugh. Or slapstick comedy. Seeing someone slip on a banana peel is a violation of, gravity and their physical well-being, but because we know they're not really hurt, it feels benign to us. The same idea is behind everything from puns, which violate the rules of language, to sarcasm, which violates the normal rules of conversation. So that's the what of humor. That's the basic recipe. But what about the how? Well, it turns out we all use this stuff in different ways, and that brings us to 4 basic humor styles. This chart maps it all out beautifully. It might look a little complicated, but it all comes down to 2 simple questions. First, who is the humor aimed at? Is it about building yourself up, or is it about connecting with other people? And second, what's the effect? Is it basically positive and harmless, or is it kind of negative and harmful? Where you fall on those 2 scales pretty much determines your go-to humor style. So let's run through them. First, you've got affiliative humor. This is the stuff that brings people together, like inside jokes or witty banter with your friends. Then there's self-enhancing humor. This is all about finding the funny in a bad situation, kind of laughing at life's absurdities just to keep your own spirits up. Now on the flip side, you have aggressive humor. This is your classic sarcasm, teasing, or put-downs that are really at someone else's expense. And finally, there's self-defeating humor. This is when you make yourself the butt of every joke, usually to get other people to laugh or to like you. Okay, this is it. We've got the benign violation theory, and now we've got these 4 humor styles. We have all the puzzle pieces. Now we can finally put them together and solve that sad clown paradox we started with. So a lot of research suggests that for many comedians, humor starts out as a coping mechanism. It becomes a way to deal with tough stuff, feelings of anxiety, loneliness, or even serious trauma from their past. For them, making people laugh isn't just about telling a joke. It's a shield. And here is the absolute crucial point. Not all shields are built the same. On one hand, you have that self-enhancing humor, finding the light in a dark situation. That's actually linked to really positive things like higher self-esteem and lower depression. But then you flip the coin. Self-defeating humor, constantly putting yourself down for a laugh, is associated with the exact opposite. Lower self-esteem, higher anxiety, higher depression. It's a shield that can actually end up hurting the person holding it. I mean, this quote from the absolutely brilliant comedian Stephen Fry, it just says it all. It's so raw and powerful. He can be on stage making an entire audience roar with laughter, and on the inside, he's fighting this immense pain. That is the paradox, right there, in his own words.
And this is the final piece of the puzzle. This is where it all clicks. Let's go back to our benign violation theory. For a comedian who's struggling, the violation isn't a pun or a pratfall. The violation is their own inner pain. It's their trauma, their depression. It feels real, and it feels threatening.
But the act of turning that pain into a joke, of getting a whole room of people to laugh at it, that transforms it. It makes that huge, scary pain feel safe. It makes it feel harmless, benign, even if it's just for a moment.
So, understanding all this gives us a totally new way to appreciate comedy, and especially the incredible artists who create it. But you know what? It also gives us a new way to look at ourselves and to maybe ask what our own laughter is telling us. So, I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you really laugh at something, I mean a deep belly laugh, just pause for a second and ask yourself, what was the violation there? And what, for me, made it feel benign? The answer might tell you a lot more about yourself than you think.